Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back.
Do it.
That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure,
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here, based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
This week, we head back to South Lake Tahoe, California for part 2 of this tragic story. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Everybody, welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay! We're going to get some closure.
Let's get some closure, part 2. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this week. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Whisman.
We're excited to be here this week with you. Thank you guys so much for all of your iTunes reviews this week. That is so big, and we cannot thank you guys enough. It helps us out tremendously. You're doing
bananas.
You're doing amazing work
great
for us.
job.
Thank you guys so much. We really, really appreciate it, and encourage you, please, if you haven't, please get on iTunes. Give us 5 stars. Tell us whatever you want. Tell us you like puppies, and we're happy to take the credit for that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Tell us anything you want. I don't care.
We are very, very thrilled to be here this week to conclude this story that we started last week. Sorry to leave you guys on such a cliffhanger, but we had to. We ran out of time.
The amount of anger.
I know you were upset about it yourself. You were like, no.
Yeah, what are you doing, James? Don't do this to me.
Didn't you see the time? We're running out of time. It's like when you're watching a TV show. It's going to be continued. It's going to be, damn it, they can't possibly
There's too
solve
many
this.
plot points to go still.
There's a commercial break. Damn it, this is not going to work. This is not going to work, but we are here and we are excited to do this.
Yes.
Just want to give you guys a little heads up, just a quick couple of things here. First of all, you should be listening to our other podcast also, Crime and Sports. please listen to Crime and Sports. You do not have to be a sports fan.
No.
It's us making fun of criminal athletes.
Who doesn't like that?
Who doesn't like that? It's a really good time. So don't worry if you don't know anything about sports. That is not the point of the podcast whatsoever. So please do that. Also, if you really like us, beyond even an iTunes review us, and you want to help us out a little bit more, you can go on patreon.com/crimeandsports. That's like we said, our other podcast. All that money goes to us. If you want to make a donation, that would be terrific, and we would appreciate it. Like more than you can imagine.
Help me get James some goddamn health insurance.
That would be nice. Otherwise, the 5 stars would be excellent, and just listen and hang out with us, and we're happy with that.
Terrific.
Before we get started, I would like to make a slight disclaimer, as always. This is it's with the sensitive subject matter. This is a comedy podcast. All the facts are real. The research is real. Trust me, I haven't slept in days. Research.
If you saw the bags under this man's
I'm
eyes.
telling you, haven't slept in days. Research is real, but we are comedians. We're stand-up comics. This is a comedy podcast. So we promise you we never, ever, ever intend to denigrate or disrespect the victims or the victims' families. It's never our intention. We're not assholes. We're the comedy from this comes from a little bit of making fun of small towns, which is just fun, good fun. We're just joshing. And then
We're just kidding. That's it.
It's either that or we're making fun of a complete pile of human garbage who did a horrible thing.
And deserves it.
Or bumbling of a court system or a police force or something like that around the whole thing. Right. That's where the comedy comes from. So, but we understand if you feel that true crime and comedy do not have any place together, we completely understand that, and we'll part ways, say thank you very much, please unsubscribe. It's
been nice.
And don't stick around and then complain that it's exactly what we just told you it was, because that's what it is. So if you don't like it, go away. Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you. But that out of the way, without further ado,
You're so exhausted and so angry in the first place.
It just makes me crazy, I got to tell you. But that's fine. That's fine. This week, also, special disclaimer, this week is especially a little bit...
Holy shit, it's going to get crazy.
It's a little creepy, this episode this week. Things are, as you've heard, if you listened to last week's episode where we left off, you would understand that it is totally creepy, because we have a gentleman who is going around in South Lake Tahoe, California, in May of 1987, going around to these modeling agencies just to catch everybody up. Do a quick recap. He's going around to these modeling agencies. He finds a modeling agency that will provide him with teenage girls that he says are for an anti-drug commercial. So that is Mabs Martin, a 69-year-old owner of Showcase Finishing and Model School. And she brings with her friend Dorothy Dottie Walsh, her 67-year-old friend, along to this shoot with
Dottie and Mabs.
Two
They're
nice
sweet
older
ladies.
They're sweet ladies.
Yeah.
They take these two girls, Alicia Toma, age 14 from Reno, and Monica Burge, age 12 from Sparks. They take them to...
They're so young.
They're so young. They take them to South Lake Tahoe to meet with the gentleman who they believe is named Mark Bloomfield to shoot this commercial. And where we left off was they arrived, they met with him, they arrived at his trailer in a trailer park, which should be red flag number one. And he tells them to go inside, and the girls can get changed. He's got a back room. They enter a back room.
Right.
They open it up. They see the walls are wood, like plywood, not
lined
like
with pictures of models.
Lined with pictures of models.
Not a single mirror to be found.
Not a single mirror to be found. And they think everything is quite suspicious at that point. And that is where we come in right now.
All right.
All right. So they enter the room, as we said. Mabs, Dottie, the girls are in front of them. Girls walk in. They seem confused. Mabs and Dottie are at the doorway. They walk in, they turn around to Herb Coddington, who is the guy they believe is Mark Bloomfield, also alias Gary Sarno, from calling that one lady and trying to get her, lure her to a shoot, I guess, and talking about her daughter, which was disgusting. Anyway, so they turn around, they see him, they look puzzled, as nothing is said.
Yeah.
They look puzzled, and he immediately punches with a blackjack in his hand, like an old time mob guy would use, like a little, basically looks like a doorstop, a little heavy doorstop. He smashes 14-year-old Alicia right in the jaw.
Oh Jesus!
That's his first action here. We're 5 minutes in, 6 minutes in. This is brutal.
And
here.
the kid's already punched.
And the kid's already punched in the face. A poor 14-year-old Alicia. She falls back. So then he turns to Mabs, the 69-year-old woman who owns the agency, and begins punching and pushing her toward the ground and just basically pummeling this poor woman. He then tells everyone to shut up. Herb, he tells everyone to shut up, orders the old ladies, well, not old ladies, but compared to the young girls, orders the older ladies onto the ground and ties them up.
Holy shit.
That's what he tells him.
This got super real.
Yeah, he tells them he's going to tie them up. Now, Mabs Martin, she protests the whole thing.
I would hope so.
She's trying to talk her way out of this,
If she's just like, yeah, this will do it, then I'd have some more
terrific.
questions.
Where would you like it, back or front?
Right.
These poor people. And so he basically tells her, look, I will kill the girls if you don't get on the ground. That's his thing here. Now, before we go any further, too, you have something that is really, really relevant about this story that I'd like you to share with people.
Right now?
Well, yeah, go ahead and do it right now because later on it's going to be weird.
Okay, so I have a young daughter.
Yes,
she is 6.
Adorable little girl.
She's adorable. She's amazing. She's the light of my life. I love her to death. She's beautiful, and everybody always tells me that she should be in modeling. And a friend of mine, and she found in a group on Facebook, somebody was looking for child models for I'm not going to say the company's name.
Yeah,
for a kids' toy company that's very, very well known. And they were looking for children to model. The winner gets, you send pictures in a contest, the winner gets to shoot. So my daughter enters. My wife enters. She Googles the people that have the pictures up or the ads up. They all come up clean, whatever. My wife's very, very, she doesn't fuck around with people that are going to be around.
Thorough,
yeah,
obviously.
She's
around
a
your
good
6-year-old
mom.
daughter.
Right.
Yeah, you should be thorough, yeah.
So she Googles the people, they come back clean. That she emails, sends some pictures, or she emails and strikes up the conversation. They signified this is a legit opportunity. So my wife sends pictures. Now, cut 3 weeks later, my wife gets an email notification that my daughter won, and she's going to get the photo shoot, whatever. So she takes the ad, she goes.
At no point, nobody had jet black dyed hair and looked like they were in disguise.
And punches were thrown or anything.
Okay,
everything's good at this point.
All right, so far everything's fine.
So my wife goes, does the photo shoot. Everything's great. My wife said the pictures were amazing, and she couldn't wait to see them. So 3 weeks later, 2 days later, we get an email from the man who had hired the people to Facebook post saying, thank you for doing the shoot. I got my cut as the finder fee. Thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. Look forward to working with you in the future. My wife's like, who the hell is this guy saying thank you? So she Googles him. He's a fucking level 2 sex offender who was convicted of molesting systematically torture and rape of a 12 or under victim. Obviously, they're not going to give the actual kid in the files. My wife went into a fit. She was crying, terrified, sad. So she called me, and we Googled the company back, called the company back, and told them what had happened, and they had no fucking clue.
Amazing.
Because this guy owns his own business.
They didn't do a page one Google search, though.
Not one. They had no idea. They had hired him for several shoots before.
Let me ask you, when you Googled him, was it like on page 12 of it? Did you have to dig deep?
Fucking first article.
First article. Exactly. That's what I'm saying right there.
Unbelievable.
And that was through legit people, too. So that tells you people.
And this guy was not at the shoot, thank Christ. And I wasn't at the shoot either. But the man emailed my wife and said he likes to be at the shoots to watch his quote unquote my children work.
Oh no.
The most vile, disgusting email we've ever gotten.
God.
And thank Christ he was in another state at the time on some other shoot. But the man got fired. The company that we called gave him our information as the people that made the complaint.
Unbelievable.
So that this sicko. And he judged the contest.
Unbelievable.
He found the sexiest fucking kid. What a dirtbag.
Oh my
Unbelievable.
God.
And
I
felt like a failure as a parent. This shit happened 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago. That means this is still going on today.
Yeah.
And he started this company because he couldn't get a job as
because
anything
he's a
else.
Sex offender.
Right.
Exactly.
So he had to go start his own company. And he fucking did it with kids.
And this is
so
30 years after what we're talking about here.
And it's still happening today. So if you think this shit is just like
be
a dated occurrence,
no, it's not.
Don't even think that.
Be careful.
This could happen to you tomorrow if you have a beautiful child.
Not
even a beautiful child.
Any child. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
They're sick people.
Absolutely. No, that's horrible. So that was really germane to what we're discussing now. So I really wanted to get that out to kind of give you guys
Thanks. I'm glad I got to shoot that one out. That felt good to say out loud.
The people need to know that that's a thing that exists. I know people still know child molesters exist, but that the fact that even with a simple Google search, some people don't do that.
And I'm never putting my child in any ad ever again.
You never know who's with these people.
That was close enough to.
You never know
her.
if they end up in a trailer, in a room, in a soundproof room, in a trailer with plywood walls.
Wait till she's 16 to have a job. Let her work at a fucking donut shop. I don't care. Not just not Dunkin' Donuts.
Not Dunkin' Donuts, as we found out from episode 2.
Sex offenders be the manager.
Episode 2, James Cater. It happened. Sorry, Dunkin' Donuts, but stop hiring sex offender managers who are literally going at the hospital for sex offender treatment.
That end up being murderers.
Insane.
Anyway,
it's for criminal sexuality. So anyway, back to this room.
Yeah.
This is the hopefully, thankfully, not the ending of what happened with your child, but you never know. It could have been. That's the sad part here, and that's why we're kind of doing this. It's kind of one of those things. You told me that story last week, and I went, "Oh my god!" And I found this story.
Why don't we talk about that?
Well, it happens, and it scared me, and I was like, maybe people need to be more aware of that sort of thing. And I don't know. So anyway, Martin is protesting. Like I said, he threatens to kill the girls if she does not get down on the ground and submit to being tied up. Dottie, at this point, begins to beg for her life. She's saying, please don't kill me. Mabs is saying,
that's what you do in those situations.
Well, Mabs is saying, take us, don't hurt the girls.
Oh, what a hero.
She's a hero, this lady. I mean, she's like, don't hurt, just take us, do whatever you want to us, just let the girls
go. She's 69. She's led a nice life.
She's led a nice life, but still, I think she's got a nice Chrysler Fifth Avenue. Yeah. She's doing well in life
she's
here.
She's enjoying it.
She's enjoying her life, and she's actually trying to sacrifice herself. She says that she'll give him any money that he wants, and he responds with, I know you will, which is scary.
That's desperate.
That's a scary
She's desperate to live, and he's like, I realize you're desperate, and I don't give a shit.
No, and a 14-year-old Alicia at this point has some money in her pocket, so she hands it to her. I mean, you're just trying to give whatever you can to get this guy to stop.
Her Bazooka Joe money.
Anything, yeah. I mean, who knows? She probably got money. Her parents probably gave her money for lunch or something because they were stopping. And
she's got $8 in her pocket, and she's like, will this save my life?
Yeah, here you go.
And he's a scumbag.
Unreal. So Herb, at this point, Coddington, puts a pillowcase over Mabs' head.
Oh, Jesus.
And from there, this gets bad, he tightens a zip tie around her neck, the flex cuffs that we talked about before that don't, once you tighten them, they don't untighten. You have to cut them off. Yeah. So she zips that around her neck, and she says that it's too tight and asks him to loosen it and says she can't breathe, and then she just gags and can't breathe and falls over sideways and dies right there on the floor in front of everybody, choking to death, which is not a great way to go. And it'd probably be a little traumatic for the girls, I would imagine.
Just ruined 3 lives if they exist after this.
Absolutely.
Oh, Jesus.
So, she falls over. Now, Herb orders the girls to lie on top of the older woman's legs on the ground so he can tie them up, presumably. He uses flex cuffs, the same thing he used to kill Mabs. He uses them to tie their hands and feet, to bind the girls' hands and feet. He puts a jacket over Alicia's head and a pair of shorts over Monica's head. Okay. Monica's 12, by the way, which just sounds so much younger than 14, even though it's not. Right. That sounds so young, 12. That's
it's amazing what those 2 years do for maturity of your brain.
Yeah, I have a 15-year-old daughter. I know, she's way different now than when she was 12.
Exactly.
It's just a different thing.
At 12, they're still like a baby. And at 15, they think they're adults. Granted, they're not, but they can spit some pretty important information out.
So now that they're tied up, and Dottie is pleading for her life. She says, please don't kill me, let me live. And she says, I have a heart problem. Yeah. I don't know. She's just digging for whatever. I don't know why that would make him want to let her live anymore, but Herb tries to get her purse. She's holding her purse in her hands like Sophia from the Golden Girls. And I don't mean to make fun of it, but I mean, she
should have blasted
her purse. Anything, right? Anything. Try, whatever. She's holding her purse, and he's trying to grab it, and she won't let go.
Good for her.
She's holding on to her purse. Well, it's probably, I don't know if that was the right move, because then he hits her repeatedly on the head until she basically falls over unconscious, bleeding on the carpet. Then he leaves the room. When he leaves the room, the girls are covered, but they hear Dottie vomiting, and they hear, her thrashing around and hear her vomiting.
Hear her dying.
Hear her dying. Well, she's hit on the head, and I think that made her throw up, because that happens if you have a head injury. He returns with the flex cuff and puts it around her neck and strangles her too, Dottie. Wow. So now he's got, both the ladies are gone, and the girls can hear gargling noises as she's dying, of course, so they're traumatized. They've heard horrible things now. It's probably worse maybe with your sight being obscured because
you can't see it. You're imagining what you think is there.
Which makes it much more horrible, and you don't know if that's coming at you now either because you can't see, so it's horrible. A little later, they hear, in the next few minutes, they hear a lot of moving around by Herb. They hear plastic bags being jostled about. Oh, God. And about 15 minutes later, they hear the sound of bags being dragged on the carpet.
Wow.
They didn't think the older women were in the room anymore. So you can do your own math there as to where the older women might be at this point.
Cleaning up, maybe taking out the trash.
Yeah, they're making a nice dinner in the front. They have a couple things on the stove,
like
just light.
This should be taken out.
Just a light, a couple of chicken breasts, something very light.
Chicken cutlets, some macaroni and cheese.
Very nice.
Right.
He returns to the girls at this point, and they're still in the room. Now they've got to be scared. Can't imagine what they're feeling like. And
it must be. That's a living hell.
That's a living
really
hell,
is.
and their faces are covered and they're zip tied hands and feet. I can't imagine what that's insane. He puts a pillowcase. He returns. He cuts off the zip ties first, actually. So I mean that might have at least gone okay.
Really, a little bit of tension.
A little bit, yeah, to where they can move around a little bit. He ties their hands in front of them with a belt at this point, which I guess is better than flex ties. It's better than, I guess. I don't know. There is no better in this situation.
It's a little more comfortable.
It's a little not cutting into your wrist, maybe a little bit more comfortable. You don't feel like you're being arrested at a riot.
Right.
You know,
your
maybe
fingers aren't falling asleep.
Yeah. So then he puts a pillowcase over Alicia's head and ties a rope around her neck.
Oh, God.
He tells them. Now this is how he's created his own world here. This is going to play out over the course of the next couple of days. He tells them, quote, "We wanted Mabs and I was paid to get her and I'll have to be paid extra for Dottie." So right now he's telling them that basically he's a hitman that was hired to kill a 69-year-old owner of a teenage modeling agency. Like she's in with the wrong crowd.
Right.
She's been really going deep with the mob.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about here?
Fifth Avenue is the tip. That's
the
the one
tip,
that tells you she's really into some bad shit.
Yeah, she's knowing it. Unbelievable, man. So anyway, he takes off the wrist restraints after a little while off the girls and allows them to take their blindfolds off, which I'm sure that had to be a ginormous. I can't imagine the relief in that. Even though you're still trapped in this house, at least you can see and move around a little bit. Alicia sees the door to the room at this point has eye holes in it. So he's got that creepy.
Oh, wow.
This is as creepy as a human being could be. He's got a soundproof girl holding room with eye holes in the door.
Every hair on my body just stood up.
Should.
That is so creepy.
Everybody's hair should be standing up right now. I hope it is. If there's not, you're fucked up and you should be checked out. Don't give us a review saying we're assholes. You're the one whose hair isn't standing up.
You're the one that's not panicking right now with eye holes cutting a wall.
We're freaked out by this. And you know what? I got to say this too. Like, I understand that, obviously whatever happened to them is the most horrible. And we'll find out what happened to them. But this is disturbing to me. I have had nightmares for 2 weeks doing this story, and I'm disturbed. I'm disturbed relaying the details of it, but it happened. Yeah. And you need to know what a piece of shit this guy is and what a piece of shit still lurks out there, like you said. And we'll root for bad things to happen to this guy also. But unbelievable.
Rah, rah, rah.
Yeah.
Go bad things.
So he comes in at this point and tells the girls, after he's let them, undid their restraints, he tells them he'll probably hold them for ransom, which is probably a relief to the girl. Yeah. If it was me, it would be a little bit of a relief. I'd rather hear I'm going to let you go now, obviously, but hold you for ransom is better than, I'm going to get the zip ties out.
I don't need you ever again is a worse fucking thing to say.
A hold you for ransom means I need you alive.
Right.
So that's at least that. Now, Monica, 12, the 12-year-old, she asks if he's going to kill them because that's a normal question. Yeah. Herb pulls out a pistol with a silencer on it and tells them that if he planned to kill them, he could have already done it.
Well, he's not wrong.
I think he just saw that in a movie once. Because remember, this is, I'm serious, if this is from the movie, this is a movie thing. He saw a movie in 1975 with Martin Sheen and Linda Blair that made him, where Martin Sheen plays a smart mental patient that kidnaps Linda Blair and they end up falling in love.
Right.
So he feels that, I really feel like everything he does is from movies. He's just one of these people.
That does sound like a fucking pre-written line.
It does sound. Yeah. It's I've seen it in movies 100 times.
Sure.
Where they're like, they take the gun out, like, if I wanted to kill you, I'd have already done it. And they're like, oh yeah, okay. And that means that everything's fine now in a movie. But in real life, I wouldn't be buying it from this guy after what I've seen. Herb gives the girls some water at this point, and then makes them turn around, face the wall, and puts pillowcases back over their heads. So again, this is just I don't know if he did. This seems like the type of guy who would study psychological techniques of how to get people broken down, and I think that's what he's doing. Take them off, put them on, disorient their
also
space
too,
and everything.
There's a psychology in that like you're dehumanizing them. Like
absolutely.
Maybe they were too real at that moment, and he had to put them on to get rid of that whole feeling.
That's the thing. He's got to cover them up, and that's another thing that happens here. But also too, I think it's a tactic. Because he's read all these booklets on how to control people and all this. I feel like that's a tactic,
how to push that fear into them.
Yeah, and it works for the way of dehumanizing them also. Yeah. I think it's like, hey, win-win for him, Anyway, he leaves the room. They're sitting there going, where is he? What's he doing? He comes back with fruit.
What the fuck?
He comes back with fruit and gives it to the girls.
What kind of fruit? Like fucking honeydew or some garbage
I'm sure
fruit
it was
like
terrible.
that?
Yeah, it's like an underripe cantaloupe.
Fucking cantaloupe.
It's a really underripe one, though.
It's all fucking hard. And
didn't scrape the skin slime out of the middle well
Still
enough.
super green.
Not great. Yeah, it doesn't. It all tastes like the rind.
I hate cantaloupe so much.
I like it if it's
the
ripe.
worst fruit.
That's a little go on. Anyway, so after a little while of being gone here, he leaves the girls locked in the room, and he comes back with some magazines now. I don't know. Now it's turned into the waiting room at the dentist's office, and he's giving you a Golf Digest.
National Geographic.
Yeah. So this ends up actually helping out because Alicia sees on them. This is how he thought all this through enough.
This is brilliant.
But he didn't think it through this much.
Right. Pull the label off, you dickhead.
Exactly.
You idiot.
She finds a subscription label with Herb Cottington and his address written on it. So she, like a smart girl, rips it off and puts it in her bag because she's got they have their suitcases with them to change into. So she does that, which is smart. He leaves them there now for the night. Basically, they go to sleep eventually. What else are you going to do? You're in a dark room. There's nothing to do. You've had your fruit. What do you do? So they go to sleep.
Eventually, too, like even you think that you're such in fear that you're just going to stay up constantly, but eventually your body just goes, you've had enough.
It shuts it down. Yeah, how much stress can your body handle?
And she's been barraged visually with horrible and audibly with horrible things.
Yeah. You're just you probably just your body rests and your mind rests at the point where I don't think I'm being killed right now, which was what you were in constant fear of every second of that day, and now it's gone. So I would imagine that might, I guess, be. I don't know how you could be calm
enough
at all.
Comfort. Right?
It's ridiculous. So Herb, at this point, they're sleeping. He's out in the living room going about his business.
Yeah.
He calls a friend of his, as we remember from the first episode, part 1, Michael Zaretma. Do we remember him? He was the mathematician guy who has the advanced degree in mathematics. It said that Herb understands advanced mathematics as it comes to probabilities of gambling as well as anybody else.
Right.
Herb tells Michael that, quote, I have something going on here. Something like the guy in Philadelphia. Now, they're referencing this. There was a man, I guess, who held some girls hostage in his basement in Philadelphia for years and never got caught.
Okay.
And this is the thing that they're referencing. He says that the Zaretma asks if it was a voluntary situation. Is this like a kinky thing you got going on with some girl that you met at the casino?
And she's like 30-something and she's into it?
She's 35 and wants to be tied up for 20 hours a day. Like, whatever. People are weird. Who knows?
Yeah.
Herb replies no. So this makes Michael Zaretma a little bit uncomfortable, as I would imagine. Herb said he won't get caught at all because the landlord doesn't hardly come around. It's like, there's no one's going to come in here, soundproof room.
And that's
who's going to bother me. Now he tells Zaretma that he's a 30-year-old guy. He's going nowhere in life. He's got nothing going on, and basically, what the hell?
Right.
Like, he's going to give it a shot.
May as well.
Yeah. Basically, I've had these fantasies for going on. They've been working, and let's give it a shot. Let's see what it works. Let's see if it works out. It's like a guy. He thought about starting a little business on the side, cleaning offices, and then one day he just got a bucket and a couple of sponges, and he's like, "I'll just go start going around offices."
I'm just going to go get one right now, and then maybe it'll turn into 2 and 3.
Go to Vista Prince, get some cards, and let's do this. Just go around from place
Word
to place.
Word of mouth, I might be kidnapping kids all over this town.
I'll offer them a free cleaning up front, and then they'll come back and get my services again. No, so this is absolutely insane. He tells him. Herb tells Zaretma that if Zaretma comes back to the area, because he had moved to Minnesota in 1986, he said, by the way, if you're in the area, he's planning on this being like a long-term thing right now.
Wow.
He goes, if you're ever back in the area, you should stop by. He goes, because quote, it was better than you can imagine. That's what he tells him about this. This is his idea of better than you can imagine.
Shit.
Having 2 dead women
right.
and two
very alive, petrified, terrified, ruined children
holed up in a soundproof room that you've made
with eye holes in the wall.
Unfucking believable. This is
better than I can imagine. Nothing's better than I can imagine is you invited them over to do the photo shoot. You did the photo shoot, paid them, and they left. That's better than I can imagine.
Here's better than I can imagine. Instead of doing this, Herb went out and found a job that he, didn't really love, but it paid the bills, and he went and did it 9 to 5, and then he, jerked off, and then he went to bed. That's what I would like from Herb. Go to hits
but
the buffet.
They have a smoking section, and he hates it.
He hates it. Hits the buffet at the casino. That's that's better than I can imagine for Herb. This is about what I can imagine for Herb. It's about right for him. Fucking Herb, man.
Okay.
I want to punch Herb right in the throat right now, I swear to God.
I'd like to wrap a zip tie around his throat.
Yeah,
what a
guy,
scumbag.
This guy, it's funny, too, because neither of us are huge death penalty people. We're not like, kill everybody, who cares? But when you get something like this, oh, God, do I just want somebody to pummel him. Never mind.
Crimes against the elderly. I hate to say elderly, because they're in the 60s. They're fending for themselves. But they're
not a match for a 30-year-old
vulnerable
man.
women.
They're
right.
not a match for a 30-year-old man. It's a 70-year-old
Really,
woman.
any woman's vulnerable to a man. Yeah, but we're generally stronger.
Physically,
right. You don't fucking hit a woman.
No, a 70-year-old
and you're
woman.
bashing her to death.
Well, you also hit a 14-year-old in the face with a blackjack. So this guy has no...
to kick off the festivities.
That was the kickoff. That was his opener. That was his opener. He came out and said, "How you doing, everybody?" Yeah. Unbelievable. So at this point, he lets the girls wake up, and he is there when they wake up with eggs and strawberries.
Jesus, what a terrible combination.
I don't know what that's probably the only fruit he had in the house. I don't know. But
you need your vitamin C, you need your protein.
He went shopping for this. This is how much he planned. He's like, I got to get some eggs and strawberries in the house, too. That's what kids like, apparently. He also makes them take some vitamins. Got to make sure they're healthy.
Have your Flintstones.
As we know, he's obsessed with health and everything else. God forbid if he found a pack of cigarettes on one of them, they'd be dead already. Yeah. He then lets them go into the living room, which is interesting. At this point, he is wearing okay, this is how terrifying this is. You don't know where you are. You're in some trailer in some strange little dumpy small town. You've seen the people who brought you be killed. This guy killed them. Yeah. He's obviously a horrible person that's built this chamber dungeon with eye holes in it and everything else. He's zip-tied you up. He's taking you in and out. Now he's wearing a turtleneck with the arms wrapped around his face and a ski mask over his hair.
What the
How
fuck?
terrifying does that sound if you don't know what's going on?
Sounds like an 8-year-old trying to play Superman. That's what it sounds like.
Not only that, they've already seen him.
Yeah. We know what you look like.
Them.
Now you're terrifying.
Now you're making it worse. And through the ski mask, they can see orange hair sticking out. He's now dyed his hair orange.
What the fuck?
Because he's a master of disguise, apparently.
Yeah.
The guy who looked just like that crazy guy, but now he's got orange hair instead of dyed black fucking paint, shoe polish head.
It's like a bad comedy.
It is. It's like a bad comedy that is really, really not funny. It's scary and not very funny at all. He lets them watch TV for a while before announcing that it was time to work out.
Oh, boy.
Now he tells them it's workout time. He puts them back in the room, and he tells them to go change. Put your workout clothes on, he tells them. We're going to work out. Yeah, right? So the girls, while they're in the room, they can hear heavy breathing like he's working out. They hear, working out noises. They hear the shower go on, and they hear him take a shower, and then he comes back and retrieves the girls, has them work out to a videotape. So, he had to get a workout tape for them to work out to. He's looking through. He's like, I'll just get Jane Fonda today.
Yeah.
Like I picture him
There's some Susan Powder.
Yeah, I picture him down at the the small town video, the South Lake Tahoe video, going, do I want Buns of Steel or do I want this other one here? Do I want Denise Austin? Which one? I'm trying to think of 80s exercise video people.
Richard Simmons, fucking
maybe it was
Susan
Richard Simmons.
Powder.
Who knows? So anyway, they're doing that. He tells them to work out. They work out to the tape because they have to, because the psychopath is holding them hostage.
Whatever video it is, they'll never watch that shit ever again.
They will hate Jane Fonda from now on. I'll tell you what. He offers them showers. They refuse because who wants to get naked in there, I would imagine, if they're them. Alicia does ask to use the bathroom to brush her teeth because I got to say, her dentist would be so proud. She is being held hostage, and she's still concerned about gingivitis. She is still concerned about the health of her teeth, which is that's impressive as a dentist. Like, no, actually, I do floss. I was actually held captive, and I still brush my goddamn teeth. She sees brown mustache-length hair all over the sink, so he shaved his mustache. So he's trying to change his appearance with orange hair and no mustache.
And he's a dirtbag. Clean that shit up, man.
Yeah, clean it up a little bit.
That's why you're single. Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. All the hair. Yeah. You bring a girl over, you bring a woman over, show her that. She's not coming back.
You ever have dinner and then you're like, the bathroom's down the hall. She walks in, she's like, what the fuck? Who is this monster?
Pay one paper towel swipe. God.
It's not that hard.
They're both returned to their room, and after a little while, Herb comes back in.
Oh, God.
Which is insane. He sits down and tells the girls something. He sits down and he's talking to them. He tells them, oh, my goodness. He tells them that they are going to make a videotape with an 18-year-old boy that his friends kidnapped, and that they were going to take the tape and sell it in Europe. Okay. That's what he's telling them right now. He makes them take off their clothes, and he blindfolds them. At this point, Alicia can see out of her blindfold. He doesn't do a good job with that because he's a complete fucking loser.
Right.
Alicia asks if he's going to rape them. That's her question, which is a fair one, I would say, at this point. Herb tells them no and tells them that if this 18-year-old boy hurts them, then he'll hurt the boy.
Okay.
He's telling them no, whatever. So this is, by the way, this part's a little rough, so just buckle up for this.
Yeah.
He puts both of them on the bed, close enough to where they can hold hands with each other for at least they had
moral support.
At least they had each other.
Yeah.
I guess that's that's horrible, but I mean at that point that must have felt like a rock or something. Something you can
like
hold on to.
A teddy bear.
That's what I mean. Just something, someone else to
anything
to help with the fear. I don't know.
Anything.
It's horrible. So anyway, Herb climbs on the bed and he's holding a microphone. At least you can see him holding a microphone. And in his normal voice, he tells this boy who they don't know they don't see a boy to be gentle with the girls. Okay, he tells him that. He leans down to Monica. She's the 12-year-old, by the way. Can't reiterate that enough. This girl is fucking 12
years old.
Unbelievable. He puts on a young boy voice at this point. He's trying to fucking fool them with this, which...
I hate him so much.
I hate him so much. That's what I mean. He's such a piece of shit that he can't even fucking be honest about the shitty shit that he's doing, even when he's in the middle of doing it.
Right.
It's like, you are doing this. You're not fooling. This is for him.
He's feeling shame, though.
Yeah, obviously. He knows that
because he knows that he's doing something terrible.
It's a piece of shit. Yeah, he's intelligent enough to know that this is not fucking correct. Even if his sick mind is telling him it's okay, he knows it's not correct.
You can count cards. You can damn sure count years.
Exactly. 12 is not a very high number to count.
It's so low.
So low. So he whispers in the young boy voice to Monica that he's scared too.
Oh.
Fucking unreal. And that the people here have guns, and he thought that if they just did what they wanted, the people won't kill them.
Right.
That's what he said. So now he's trying to get these girls to you know what he's doing.
Right. Now he takes his hairy thighs.
So now Herb, this utter piece of garbage, begins to kiss Monica all over herself, which is disgusting. He's kissing this poor girl, and Alicia asks Monica if she's okay.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what's going on. She can only see a little bit out of the blindfold. Monica says, yes, she's okay. She's not being hurt at this moment in time. About after a half hour of him kissing all over her, a half hour of this, Monica begs him to stop, and he actually stops.
Oh, good.
And he lets her get dressed, which must have felt good, but I mean, she's ruined now more than she was. Now you've destroyed her mind.
That was too much.
Destroyed her psyche already. You've already done it. You've killed this girl 3 times over already.
No doubt.
He moves over then to Alicia. And again, he's acting like the young boy, and he's saying he's sorry and that he didn't want to be killed. He gives her the same bullshit because Alicia didn't hear. She was whispering this to Monica. He was whispering it, and she didn't hear the original whispering. Yeah. He does the same exact thing to Alicia. We don't need to go over it again. After a while, she asks him to stop, and he does, which is. Whatever. I mean, I would say it's. Never mind. It's not even.
No, it's. She's already scarred and wounded.
If you shoot someone in the head twice and then say please stop, and they do that, and they're not a nice guy after that.
They're not unwounded now.
You have brain leaking out still. It's still not great. So anyway, Alicia dresses, and he lets the girls back into the living room. And when they go in there, only Herb is there. Obviously, where's the young boy?
Where'd he go?
Where'd
Johnny go?
He tells the girls that the video, quote, is not worth 2 cents. And he tells them that they would have to be repeated because they didn't do a good job.
Yeah.
So now while all this is going on, these girls' parents are worried, as you might imagine.
Thank God.
They are actually acting on their own now. They don't even trust the police. Alicia's stepfather, who's a fucking, I love this guy.
Yeah.
Because this is some shit where you go, yes, this is what you do. When your kid is missing, you fight. He goes out. This is the Saturday that they're gone. This is while all this was going on. He goes on. He can't call. He's trying to call Mabs' office saying, where are they? Where are they? You're supposed to be back by 12:30. It's 2. Where are they? Where's my goddamn stepdaughter? No one answers at the office. No one's there. No one's there. So he goes there later on in the afternoon. No one's there. He might as well have an S on his chest. He goes and breaks into that fucking office.
I was just about to say, my wife would have brought a baseball bat and broke down a door.
He goes, he kicks down the door of this office, and he finds her Rolodex and starts making calls.
Oh, shit.
Were you at this audition? He goes through it, and he tracks down, this is amazing, he tracks down the girl that he originally picked out, that Herb picked out, that couldn't do it. Remember, he said, never mind, tell her she looks too old.
Yeah, from the beer commercial.
Finds that girl.
Okay.
That girl remembers that day when she went there was a car in the parking lot, a BMW with the license plate that she thought said TV Teen.
Oh, boy.
So that made sense to her because he was casting.
That's the guy.
That's the guy. So they go looking for this car. Okay, now the stepfather's brother-in-law. We're going deep into this redneck family, but I don't know if they're rednecks, but they're from Sparks, so they probably are. Doesn't matter. He's a king redneck right now. I love this fucking guy. He gets his brother-in-law to go drive around South Lake Tahoe and find this goddamn car.
Awesome.
That's why you can say South Lake Tahoe is not a very big place.
Thank God. Thank God it's tiny.
They end up finding this car in the lot at the Nugget where he left it.
Amazing.
Somehow track this down. These people are amazing,
Yeah.
okay? They alert the authorities right now. So this is all going while this is happening, man. We're going parallel here. They alert the authorities who track the plate back to a dealer. It doesn't say TV Teen. It is the name of a dealer. It's a dealer plate.
Okay.
And it says Tvetten, Tveten.
Okay.
That is a man's name, and he owns a dealership.
Okay.
That's what she saw, but she's just, walking by, go TV Teen, whatever, which is funny because if you looked at that and you were thinking of that in your head, that's exactly what you'd see. You just switch the E and the T.
I'll bet he thought it said that too.
Probably, yeah. He knows Tvetten, so maybe not.
Okay.
Anyway, Tvetten, they talked to Tvetten, the dealer owner, and he says that the plate was given to Gary Sarno. He gives it to Gary Sarno, who we all know is one of his aliases that he uses all around town in the gambling circles.
Right.
He says that Sarno had a BMW that he imported from Europe, and he couldn't register it in the state for something. He needed more paperwork to come in, so he gave him the temporary plate till he could get it registered. And he also said that that Herb had given him a Porsche to sell because he was going to get his BMW registered. So he gave him this Porsche that he had to sell a consignment for him.
Gotcha.
Basically. So now Herb's waiting for money from this guy for this Porsche from Tvetten. Okay. Now the police, they go to Tvetten. Now they've gotten the police involved once they found out what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
They show a composite sketch to Tvetten of the guy who they was seen at these auditions. He IDs him as Gary Sarno.
Uh-oh.
Who is now it's starting to close in.
This is
here.
great.
This is going
this
in here.
This is some fast work.
This is good police work.
Yeah.
This is, thank God it's fast work. And he also even provides his address.
Oh, shit.
Because Sarno, or Herb, as we know him here, his real name Herb, lives in the trailer right next door to Tvetten's mother.
Wow.
Right next door, okay?
What a small town.
World, small town. Exactly. That's why we do this.
Right.
This is why it's small town and we give you demographics and shit because the town matters.
Thank God this town matters so much that it's so small.
Yes.
In Phoenix, this never happens.
Never doesn't happen.
In L.A., this never happens. New York, forget about it.
Not going to happen. No, exactly. I like how you did that, by the way. You tried to put it, hey, forget about it. Okay, so now... This isn't funny now again. No. We're back in the trailer.
So back to the horror.
Back to the horror, and this is particularly rough. And I'm gonna give as much details as
comfortably possible
saying out loud, honestly, because some of it just we don't need to.
Listen, we got daughters. It's hard to say.
That's what I mean. We don't need. It just doesn't need to be said. I'll give you the gist of what's going on and the basic things that are important legally, basically. Anyway. So Herb promises the girls that he will let them go home if they each do another 5 or 10 minutes of the video. That's what he's promising them. He puts them back in the room and blindfolds them both again. Okay. Monica's on the bed. Alicia's on the floor this time. They're not even together, but they can still hold hands. They can reach each other to hold hands, so at least they have that. That seems to be their comfort at this point. It's all they have, really, to be comforted by. In the living room, they hear a voice. God, I want to fucking punch this asshole. They hear a voice with a bad British accent. They're teenagers. They recognize a shit British accent. One of them's not even a teenager,
right?
And they already recognize it.
He's like saying cliche shit like bangers and mash.
Like,
and
cheerio.
Right. Then he fucks up and says shrimp on the Barbie or something.
Yeah, it's so she hears them, and she hears this. They hear this terrible British accent saying that the tape is no good. The tape's no good, and then Herb saying that he tried. I tried. He's saying, and then the British voice saying, "Well, it will have to be done again," and blah blah blah. So he can't even just say, I'm a sick, demented piece of shit and I need this to get off and, you guys are going to suffer for it. He has to make it up like, I'm just a victim with you guys. I don't know. So Herb comes back. He re-enters the room. He undresses Monica. She's on the bed. And he begins to do certain
what he needs to
things to do with his fingers is one of them.
Yeah.
She begs him to stop.
Yeah.
She, is begging him. She's saying it hurts and it's painful. He asks in the little boy voice off to the side if it was okay to stop. Piece of shit. So then Herb in his regular voice says, yeah, okay, you can stop. He's on top of her. He's not a ventriloquist throwing his goddamn voice. So Herb then, and I have to say this, Herb tries to put his business in her mouth at this point.
Oh, my God.
Yes. She says she's going to throw up, which, thank God for this poor girl. This poor girl, man.
That's so terrible.
There's no way to say it. She doesn't know what she's doing. You can't do that to a kid.
No, you can't.
That's what
do that
it is.
to you.
You're not going to gain anything from that. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Exactly.
That's why I'm laughing. It's not that it's a horror.
No, I know what you're. I know you.
You're stupid. You're fucking idiot. You can try to do that.
You're laughing because you're trying to gather exactly. It's like, what is this guy's fucking problem? Right. It's unreal. So he gets very angry at her saying this and says, "quote Why did you say that? Now you've ruined the whole thing." Which, that's on her, you asshole. That's her fault.
Because she's telling you the truth.
Because she's 12.
Right.
She's a child, you fucking piece of garbage. So she says she can't do it, and he allows her to get dressed, actually. Good. He stops with her, thank God. Yeah. But now he moves on to Alicia. And he puts Alicia on the bed, saying that Monica didn't do very well and that she's going to have to do better. Right. Is what he'd so this poor... God, I can't
Take
How
one
many
for the
times
team.
have I said this poor girl this episode? But it's true. This poor fucking kids. She screams no, but he still undresses her, and he begins to do the same things he did to Monica. Herb tells the non-existent boy, "Well, don't use your finger. You're going to have to fuck her," he tells her. That's what he tells us. Yeah. That's what he says to himself. Right. To himself, which is disgusting to even say about a 14-year-old. Right. Alicia screams. She says that that he promised not to rape her. Yeah. But he still gets on and he still tries. Yeah. He still tries to rape her. I don't need to go into explicit detail here, but it doesn't go well. Yeah. It doesn't work because she's 14. Right. And she's not ready for that. Right. Obviously. And so.
I love watching you struggle to do this because I would do the exact same thing.
It's
I can't
horrible.
tell this story.
No, it's and I'm trying to tell
You're
it.
You're doing an amazing job of being honest with you.
Have it be, You
don't need this being too graphic.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
gross.
want it to be too graphic. Yeah. I don't want it to be like, hey, let's talk about what's the horrible sexual things that happen to these poor girls. But I don't know.
There still needs to be some, so that you know the charges.
You know why he's a piece of shit and why what happens to him is whatever. So let's keep going here. Herb basically says that because you can't do that, I'm not going to give his exact quote here because it's fucking horrible, but he says you can't do that. Go back to what you were doing before that, which is not with his... Anyway, this causes her still great pain and some bleeding, obviously, too, at this point, because these girls haven't done this because they're children. Right. Alicia could see the camera, the red eye of the camera, like the red light of the camera out of the corner.
Record dot.
Yeah, out of the corner of her blindfold and thinks that she's... being recorded. Herb stops at this point because she's screaming and bleeding and in pain. And now, outside of the trailer, in the real world, the rest of the world, the police are closing in on this.
Oh, thank God.
They confirm with the trailer park manager that Herb was indeed using the Tibetan plate before he got his permanent plate on the car. So he took his car, he took the plate off.
Took it home.
He got a permanent plate, took it off, and put this temp one back on, and went out to do this. That was what he was doing. I don't know if he thought that would make him get away with it. Right. So Tibetan tells police that in March he had seen a lot of old carpeting and wood outside of the trailer. Yeah. And he said that Sarno, Herb Bloomfield, whoever this asshole thinks he is, orange-haired fuckhead, told him that he was constructing a soundproof room to play guitar. Oh, boy. That's what he tells him. Well, I got to get my guitar on. So
now you know a guy's got phony plates on a car. Yeah. You know where he lives, and he's building a soundproof room.
And he's built a soundproof room.
And we have four missing people,
and
two of them are children.
This is the picture's starting to clear up a little bit here.
At least for the police.
Yes. So we're back in the trailer now while that's going on. Herb allows Monica and Alicia out of the room and lets them watch TV,
which sucks. But
they're now traumatized sitting there watching TV. What do you put on it though?
Any show is now forever ruined.
That's what I mean.
It's all garbage.
You don't. If whatever was on, you're going to hate. Right. Even if you loved it, this is now.
Even if it was your favorite show. Yeah. MASH is completely fucking garbage now.
Alf is now a dark...
Never seeing that bastard ever again.
Alf is a dark place that they don't want to go to in their
who
brains.
Reminds me of a very sore body and grossed out and slimy.
Mind. Right. Yeah. So anyway, they asked to call their parents, which is normal child behavior. He tells them that he'll make a tape of them and play it over the phone, hostage style. He'll take it to a payphone and play it for them over a payphone. Yeah. The girls ask if they can leave, and they keep asking, can we leave? Can we go? We made the tape. He said we could go. Right. And they're kids. They probably think maybe he's telling the truth. Yeah. They don't know. So he keeps saying, let me think. He has no idea what this next move is.
He is clear. He's in a panic now. He didn't have plan B.
No.
Plan A was get the kids, kill the women.
Get the kids, kill the women. I don't even know if he thought to. That's it. And where did he think past that? I think he thought they would just stay in the room and be quiet forever. And he could just go in and do what he wants and leave and drop off some eggs and strawberries once in a while, and everyone would be fine.
Here's the other thing, asshole. Eventually, they grow older than 12 and 14, and they can fight back.
Exactly.
Because you're going to grow older too.
So he tells them that maybe he'll just drop them off somewhere, somewhere around, and then he'll just catch a flight to Europe. That's what he's telling them. Maybe I'll do that. Eventually, the girls fall asleep because nothing happens. So now we're Monday morning.
Okay.
So this is Saturday morning. They left to go do the shoot. They've been there for 48 hours, basically. Herb wakes the girls up and tells them that he's going to release them somewhere, and he's going to call the police so they can get back to Reno. That's what he tells them. He tells them to tell the police that someone kidnapped them and took them to a 2-story blue house in Sacramento, telling them that he'd harm their families if they don't follow exact instructions.
Sounds
and they
great.
probably believe it, too. Whatever. I'll say anything. Just get me the fuck out of this trailer.
I don't care. I'll tell them whatever you want me to tell them.
But the thing is, the trailer is now under surveillance.
Uh-oh.
The FBI has been called in.
Oh, this is so great.
The FBI is on the scene, and he's being surveilled now. Now, Tivetan calls Herb up on the phone, and this is from the FBI, told him to do this, calls him up on the phone and says that he has the money for that Porsche that he sold for you.
Oh, yes.
Got your money. He also tells him, hey, do you know the FBI is looking for you? You should really give them a call. So he's like, oh, boy. During the call, Alicia hears Herb say, what? My picture's in the post office? So he freaks out at that.
He's super wanted.
He's super wanted.
Yeah.
Tibetan, by the way, it never actually is up at the post office.
That's
They're just fucking
great.
with him because you'll see exactly why. They know the psychology here.
Yeah.
Tibetan asks him if he was involved in that kidnapping in the papers, and Herb tells him that he'd done, quote, much worse. So, I mean, he's telling anybody that'll listen this at this point here.
Wow. And the FBI clearly just heard that. So
this is all being recorded.
Very good reason to want to close in on this fuck.
Yeah.
Like now.
So now Herb calls David Hacker, who we knew talked about Alan
Meanwhile,
Hacker.
real quick.
Yeah.
If the FBI heard that, they don't even want to talk to the parents of those children because him just saying, I've done much worse
they don't
means
know what.
all 4 are dead.
They have no idea what's happened in this house.
At this point, that's safe to assume for all law enforcement. Everybody's
dead. They could be being
dead.
tortured right now, or they could be dead hanging up like, like field dressed like deer.
Yeah.
Who knows? You know what I mean? So Herb calls David Hacker, who we found out is the brother of that Alan Hacker guy that we talked about in the first episode. He asks directions to Alan Hacker's house because he says, quote, things are getting a little hot. I guess so. Herb ends up...
They're on fire, sir.
Burning. He leaves his trailer now, followed by the FBI. FBI hot on his tail. They keep behind him. He goes to the post office.
And he's got the kids with him, or is it just him?
He locked them back in the room. Leaves. He's got balls, this guy. He leaves. He goes into the lobby of the, like the lobby's open plate of the post office where you can get to your P.O. box and stuff like that. He goes into the lobby of the post office.
It's so scary area.
To look up at the bulletin board to look for his picture. They knew he was going to do this. At this point, they note that he has bright orange-yellow hair still, so that's the whole thing.
He looks like a skittle.
He looks like a moron. So he gets back to the trailer at 9 p.m. Okay, 3 minutes later, it's coming. I know you're going.
What the
That's
fuck?
what I'm saying too.
Throw a
door.
bag around that fucking guy.
I don't know why they didn't follow him. And just as he was opening the door, bum rush his ass behind him, tackle him, stomp
blast
his face.
him in the face with a blackjack.
That would be perfect.
Wrap a zip tie around his fucking throat and throw him in a cell and say, "Where are the girls?"
Absolutely. So 3 minutes later, the FBI gets a call from Herb. He says Herb tells them that his friend saw his poster and told him that he's wanted for the kidnapping in Reno, is what he tells him. The FBI, because he just called an office, said, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, because he called his secretary, just called like the FBI main office. She said, you can...
Mary, this is the FBI.
Yeah, she said, you're going to have to contact a field agent because I don't know who the fuck you're even talking about. Herb gives them his phone number and address. Says, you could have someone call me back, basically. So Herb tells the girls now he knows he's fucked. Yeah. Herb tells the girls that they don't need to worry anymore because the FBI found him.
Okay.
And he tells them to give him their clothes so he can, quote, wash off his fingerprints. This is like he heard something about science on TV one time and was like,
I heard I've got fingerprints that I'm putting all over the place.
He just said, like, there's semen in my fingerprints. I need to wash it off. So, like, I don't know what he was thinking.
Dude, you licked all over these girls. Who gives a shit about their clothes?
It doesn't matter at this point. So the trailer is surrounded by FBI and police, because there's also the police there. 2 FBI agents knock on the door, asking him to talk.
Yeah.
Herb refuses to open the door, saying he'd rather talk on the phone. So then he turns the lights out in the place, which the FBI is not okay with. They're they're like, okay, this is a little odd. The phone rings again, and he yells outside to the agents, asking them what to do.
Yeah.
And they said, answer the phone and listen to what they say, idiot. This is exactly what they say. Do like what you're told.
Right.
Herb answers the phone, and he tells them that there's agents at the door. They know they're there. Everyone's coordinated on the outside.
We're at the door,
Yeah,
dickface.
we know. So then he tells the agent on the phone that the girls are in the trailer and that he needs to go to the hospital because he's very sick. That's what he tells them on the phone.
Boy.
So at this point, agents bust through the door. One breaks out a window with his gun and climbs in the window. Herb starts running toward the back. They hold him at gunpoint on the ground. Thank fuck. They cuff him, and I hope they use zip ties.
Yeah.
Christ almighty.
They better have.
Extra tight. Herb tells them that he's sick, but the girls are all right. I'm sick, but the girls are fine. No, they're not.
No.
Well, they're not dead anyway.
Right. They're breathing, but they're not all right.
Yeah. Herb also tells them that the older women are in the back room. That he's placed them in plastic bags, quote, so there wouldn't be any messies. Messies, he said, like a fucking 5-year-old.
Child.
You son of a bitch
I
asshole.
can't believe he said that.
Agents go in. They unbarricade the room with the girls. They find the girls.
Yeah.
Thank God they're saved. They must
Their
have been.
brains are a messies.
Anytime they hear something coming, they're like, oh, God, what is it? And then it's FBI agents. They must have felt amazing. They're rescued. Then they go in the back room, and they find Mabs and Dottie.
The messies.
And this is the point where the South Tahoe Police Department take over because it's a crime scene, and it's their case. And so they're in control of the crime scene. They end up taking Herb to the station. On the way to the station, Herb tells police that he killed Martin and Walsh. He said that he strangled them, and that you can find everything that he used in the home. He tells police that they fought him, and they were too hard to control. Meanwhile, he attacked them first.
Yeah.
But I think he said, like, I can't control 4 people.
Right.
Which is probably true. He denies any sexual contact with the girls, said he's never touched the girls. Okay. He said he did it because there was this is his explanation for why he did all this. Okay?
The whole thing. He's got a sentence to sum up everything.
He's got a sentence to sum it all up. And this is his connection, okay? He says that he did it because, quote, there's too many bad things in the world, too much smoking in the casinos, and too many drunk drivers.
Oh, my God.
That makes, those things are not connected, sir. That's like saying that you shit on the living room floor because the Dukes of Hazzard were canceled in 1984. They don't have anything to fucking do with each other.
Margaret smoking in the casino, spending her SSI check has zero to do with you.
With you doing this. But that's what he keeps saying. He reiterates the whole thing at the station, smoking, drunk drivers, it's the whole thing's crazy, and that's why I did it, because the world's a mess.
Oh, boy.
Nothing to do with these girls. Told them that the police had a difficult job. Now he's pulling one of those where he's like, look, I know you guys have a tough job. He goes, that's why I bagged up the women, so you wouldn't have to clean up any messies. He uses again.
He can't stop saying it.
Gee, thanks. You're a real fucking prince. We appreciate the help. Thanks.
Wow.
So everybody out there, just if you kill somebody, make sure to bag them up.
In a bag,
the cops really
right.
appreciate it.
Treat them like dog shit and make sure you pick them up.
Actually, you're preserving evidence. So
so maybe do
that. Yeah, actually. Yeah,
we'll catch you a little quicker.
A little faster. Mabs is found inside a garbage bag with a flex cuff around her neck and her hands tied. Same for Dottie, except she is inside 3 bags because she was bleeding from the head.
Extra bloody.
Right. So,
like a chicken.
The girls like a chicken. The girls have bruises and internal tearing and all sorts of abrasions and bruises from being grabbed at and all that sort of thing. Herb, they find out, has $10,000 cash when he's arrested, which he's always had a little bit of dough, and he's planning on fleeing to Europe. So Herb pleads not guilty to this 3 days later. Not guilty in Lake Valley Justice Court to 4 charges of kidnapping, 2 counts of murder. Judge Eugene Rasmussen asks Herb if he understands that you could be subject to the death penalty for this, and Herb says he understands.
Welcome to California.
Welcome to California. The DA said of the girls, I think from the nature of the charges themselves, you could glean they've been through a very difficult and devastating personal experience.
Beautiful.
Because people are asking, how are the girls, basically.
Not great.
Not terrific.
I'd put that on the news.
Going to be a while.
Not great. Don't ask another one about them.
Going to be a while for them to be okay. Now, June 23rd, 1987, the Clark County Justice Court in Las Vegas. It's been a while since he's been in Las Vegas, hasn't it? Well, they issue an arrest warrant for Herb for the 1981 murder of Sheila Jo Keister, who was found in a wash on the east side of Las Vegas. Do you remember that from episode 1? They found this poor girl, 12 years old. Investigators saw similarities in the cases and ended up doing a little looking into it, and they found that the bite marks matched perfectly. They got a forensic ondologist, whatever it is. forensic tooth person to come in, and they found that the teeth marks matched perfectly.
Yeah.
And they also talked to one of Herb's old girlfriends who they showed a sketch from the time of Sheila's disappearance that said that's exactly what Herb looked like at the fucking time. He's charged with murder, first-degree kidnapping, and sexual assault down there, too.
Good.
So now it's crumbling down.
Yeah.
This is insane. So now pre-trial, defense moves to throw out any evidence found in the trailer.
What?
Yeah. Says that the FBI didn't have a warrant to go in the trailer.
I could give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't care at this point.
Legally, I mean, I get it, but
it's admitted because there was probable cause to believe someone was in danger, so it didn't matter.
Right.
Because if you're saving someone, you don't need a warrant to do that.
Legally, I understand them saying you didn't have a warrant, you can't come in here, but you fucking said I've got the girls here.
Exactly. DA tells the judge that this is also too. The DA in this pretrials is telling the judge that Herb cannot get a fair trial in South Lake Tahoe due to it's a small town. Yeah. This is the biggest thing that's ever happened since, before Duggard. This is before J.C. Duggard.
There's nobody there. You're going to have Tibetan on the fucking on the jury.
So the defense doesn't want to move because they're trying to fuck the case either way. They go, well, if you don't move, then that's something we can appeal on later on, saying that you tried us in the. So they're trying to set up appeals basically because he's not denying that he did this.
Right, he knows he's fucked.
They're denying his mental capacity.
Right.
March 4th, they do make a decision to move the trial to Placerville, about 50 miles away, which is something he'll use on appeal later on, saying he didn't get enough cross-section of jury of his peers from his hometown, which is it's nuts. So, I mean
what are you doing? Why move then?
He says, Herb says about this at this point, a quote from this pile of garbage. He says, they'll spend millions prosecuting me. God, if they had spent a few thousand helping me, it wouldn't have happened. These are people who should have seen I needed help. I was really under a lot of pressure. It's everyone else's fault. I mean, who the fuck isn't under pressure?
They've got a police force out there looking for DUI drivers, and they've got laws that people can smoke in the casinos.
It doesn't matter. Maybe just cut it out.
If he's blaming those two things, they're doing what they can for you, man.
He was under a lot of pressure. Well,
You're an asshole.
Defense concedes that he killed the women and just claims that he's insane. That's what they're doing. He has 3 psychiatrists that say he was delusional and made up his own system of God and everything else in his head and was not responsible for his actions. They said he truly believed that if he didn't follow what he thought were messages, that bad things would happen to him. Okay. He believed that the numbers 46 and 45 were, quote, go numbers, and 26 was a stop number. So if he saw those things and he thought whatever he was doing was good, and if he saw a stop number, that meant he had to stop or bad things would happen.
That's weird.
He's going
That's
crazy.
Some bananas shit.
Yes. They say that he thinks because the messages were from God that he didn't think they were wrong.
Okay.
He goes, they were messages from God telling me to do this to these women. I'm not going to argue. Who am I to argue with God? I'm only a fucking scumbag. So Herb says, this is what he says on it, quote, I was not questioning the messages because you don't question God. I thought I was supposed to have a baby with these girls, someone to carry on.
Hey, asshole, they can't.
Physically, but still, unreal.
Right. Anatomically, they can't have a child yet. So what are you doing?
3 different doctors agree with him and say that he's insane. Just give you their names in case you're ever looking for some therapy. Don't go to these fucking assholes if they're still in business. Dr. Joseph Stratton, Dr. Fred Rosenthal, and Dr. Mark J. Mills can eat my shit. Yeah. Fuck you guys. So
eat dicks, sir.
Eat dicks. He's found sane to stand trial. Yeah. Good. Defense is told they can prevent evidence of insanity, but experts can only testify if they believe Herb did not premeditate or deliberate the murders. They say he's sane in our eyes, so that's the only thing. If you say he's so insane that he couldn't have had any premeditation, then you can use that. But otherwise, just he's a little crazy. We got it, and we're moving forward, asshole. We don't care if he's crazy. His attorney. Coddington's attorney says that, quote, that he was, quote, violently anti-drugs and opposed to drinking, smoking, and coffee. I don't know
coffee?
How coffee comes into the mix. Everyone's drinking coffee.
Should have been a Mormon.
See, well, he couldn't have worked. At least he wouldn't have worked at Dunkin' Donuts. So they also the prosecution finds a couple of doctors of their own. They find a guy named Bruce T. Caldor. He says that he talked about the practice effect, which is where intelligent people can basically learn the correct responses to say to doctors to get them to diagnose them with whatever the fuck they want because they've done this before.
Some manipulation.
In other words, he's a good liar and manipulator. He says that Herb has, quote, mixed personality disorder with antisocial, paranoid, borderline, obsessive-compulsive, passive-aggressive, and narcissistic features.
Jesus.
That's his diagnosis. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Dr. Robert Biddle said about the same. says legally responsible, asshole. During the sanity phase, court looked at his compulsive writings because he has these writings where he would write like bag, kill, wall, like everything he did in like pieces and shit like that. All the way back to his school days, his writings. They viewed films of him from childhood. They also found what they found in the trailer, a porn film where he spliced a clip of himself wearing full makeup into the middle of the movie for some reason. I don't know what he got off on that.
That's bizarre.
Okay, we'll do that.
That's awesome.
I don't know what he's doing.
I want to see that video and giggle my ass off because that's fucking hilarious.
What a loon. So prosecutors read from his diary pages. Excerpts of his writing include one that says, "Evil must exist to prevent boredom," which just sounds like some like teenage kid shit that's writing on his Metallica folder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just something that an adult says to fucking justify their shitty behavior.
He also says, quote, "If you are given a choice whether or not to kill, but can choose who or when or how to die or live, it's not murder. Death is a given in some situations." Unpack that shit, everybody.
Whoa.
We don't have time. We're moving on.
Yeah.
Also, too, they found from October 15th, 1984, a diary entry that said, quote, "Young chicks smell, taste, and feel better, even if not quite as built."
Oh, God. Jesus, that's a slimy one. That's harder to unpack than the other one.
March 4th, 85, need to find if young chicks are what I need, and if so, when I do it, and when I do, I go for it. That's what he's saying there. So he's saying he needs to do that. Several statements in the book, he wrote torture book on his book and label. He said act out fantasies like Last Days Alive.
Jesus.
Right before this. Also has a diagram drawn of a room within a room. This is all in his diary. And his torture book on the same pages as the Live Out Fantasies line and torture book. Finally, he is found guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances for multiple murders at the same time. Also, forcible rape of Alicia, oral copulation, forced digital penetration on Monica, kidnapping, the whole shebang.
All right.
On January 20th, 1989, he is found guilty of this, luckily. Jesus Christ. Judge Terrence Finney said, quote, "Mr. Coddington's conduct was probably the most evil I've ever been involved in," which I don't know how it would be.
I'm right there with him.
There's automatic appeals to this before they can do the penalty phase. The DA, Ronald Tepper, said about this, quote, "There is only one way to deal with animals like Coddington. His crimes were so horrendous, so evil, so heartless, he deserves to die."
Yes.
I agree with you, sir.
Yeah.
I strangle this guy myself.
I'm right on board, babe.
Me and you would jump this guy, no problem.
Let's take some turns. Let him start to black out and then let go. And it's your turn, James. Let him black. I get 2 times 2, though.
That's fine. That's all right. I'll let you have that.
All right.
One for your daughter for that whole thing.
Right.
So now he's appealing the whole thing, and Herb appeals on the grounds that because it was in Placerville, like I told you, he didn't get a cross-section. Court finds no merit to that. Good. Also, the search warrant thing, they said probable cause.
Deal with it.
What do you expect? Also, too, on the grounds that the evidence against his sanity wasn't admitted, that he should have been more shit saying he was crazy.
Yeah.
Court said there was error in not admitting certain expert testimony, but unless it disputed the premeditation, like I said, but it's not a big enough deal to overturn the decision due to the overwhelming evidence of premeditation.
Yeah.
I would say you built a room, you asshole.
You built a fucking rape room, you jerk.
Yep. California Supreme Court justices on July 3rd, 2000 are split 5-2. They're split on the decision on this to keep for his sentence, and the split 5-2 in favor of the death penalty. Good. So this asshole got the death penalty. The dissenting opinion said that there was at least a reasonable chance that the jury was influenced by mistakes, but fuck it, let's kill this asshole, basically. That's why I say, fuck him, go.
Well, fuck it.
Fuck
I like
it.
it.
I think that was what the first part was the actual judge. Last part was, I think, what they were getting at. That's what I said. Now, we have a gym teacher from his high school at Paul V. Moore High School back when he was a kid, Coddington's teacher. Okay. He said, quote, "We have kids where we think if they don't straighten out, he's going to be in trouble. Not Herb. He was a good kid. I was always for the death penalty, and I respect people who are against it. But in some cases, the death penalty is appropriate. This situation hasn't changed my mind."
Good.
So I even killed my kid who was in my gym class.
Yeah.
And finally, we're going to give the last word on this to Mabs' son. Mabs' son, Jim Whiting, who now took over his mom's house and tried to put her shit in water, and this poor guy, suffering deal here. They asked him, what do you think his punishment should be?
Yeah.
He said, quote, how would I punish me? How would I punish him? Just give me 4 to 6 months alone with the guy. You have to stop these sort of genes from being spread. But whether it's in his genes or in the soul, I don't know.
4 to 6
months.
I'd like to torture him for months.
Yeah, it's not more. Normally we hear, I need 5 minutes with that guy. He said, I want him for 4 to 6 months. I want to work him over with a pair of pliers
every day
and a chopstick
for 4 to 6 months, right after work.
I think we should give this guy.
Yeah.
I think we should give Jim Whiting a shot at this whole deal.
Let's give it a chance.
My question here on this, and then we have to wrap up because we're way over. How many fucking little girls are in the desert? How many? Because
there has to be tons.
He killed this girl in 1981 and put her in the desert, and she was found and made a big deal. At that point, a smart guy like him would go, can't let them be found anymore.
Right.
Now I have to hide them
somewhere else
in a hole or deeper in the desert. You don't just kill a 12-year-old, get the taste for that, and then wait 5 years and then decide to do it again. He's done shit. He's done shit. There's more out there, and it's goddamn disturbing. Yeah. I hope they're never going to pin him on him now, but it's these poor people are. It's sad. It's so sad.
It's terrible.
Unreal. But that's our story. That's our horrible, horrific story. And
when does he get the death penalty?
We don't know yet. It's still going through all the things, and he's still alive and
still there 30 years later.
Still hanging in there.
Jesus.
You can look at his picture. He looks like an utter and complete piece of shit.
Terrible.
And he looks exactly like he is, because he is an utter and complete piece of shit.
Enjoy the fucking inside of the walls, Herb. Now you've got a rape room.
There you go. Yeah. Hopefully it's, he's in a secure room now.
I hope
and
that
hopefully
whole
people
secure
are taking
room
advantage of it.
is a rape room.
So that is our story for today. We do not have time for shout-outs this week. We'll do all our shout-outs next week because we have so many to do, but we just don't have time for it this week. We try to keep it at a kind of a low end around the hour mark. If you like what you hear, or I hope you didn't like that, but if you enjoyed our telling of it.
If you hate the description and enjoyed the story.
Please go on iTunes and give us 5 stars. Like we said, you can say bunnies are fluffy. It doesn't matter. Give us the 5 stars. It really helps us out on the business end. If you want to go above and beyond that, you can get on patreon.com/crimeinsports, which is our other podcast. You can drop us a donation there, which helps us so much. You can do that. You can do all this stuff. We have social media at Murder Small on Twitter, Small Town Pod on Facebook. Please do that. Also, too, if you want to make a one-time donation to us, you can go on our PayPal, and our PayPal is crimeinsports@gmail.com. You can do that. That would be lovely.
Appreciate it.
We would appreciate it. But do that. Follow us. Jimmy, you want to give them your social media?
At Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Come around and involve yourself. It's been a great week. You guys were awesome this week. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Thank you guys so much. I'm at Jimmy P is Funny all around. And if you're still listening, make sure to catch us at the Tempe Improv on April 6th and 7th. We'll be working with Dan Cummins, who's a really funny guy.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong. Come out and see us. But, guys, that's our story, and we'll see you next week, guys. It's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.